It's the Army of Drunks, Season 3! I have no big introductory words after that. It's the Army of Drunks Season 3, everybody. It's the Manhattan Show, and our guest is drunk scientist Ian McEwan, back again. He'll be getting drunk and talking science. Warning, what he says is way more interesting than what we say. And now, without further ado, your host, David Hasselhoff. No, I'm kidding, it's just us. Warning, the Army of Drunks contains inebriated people saying horrible things. Please listen responsibly.
From the planetarium at the Rodney Allen Rigby Memorial Science Center at Cal State Dominguez Hills, it's the Army of Drunks Talking Funny Radio Podcast with your hosts, Matt Shaw, Shap, Updown, Spork, and Mixmaster Therm. Tonight's special guest, Ian McEwan. Now let's get ready to mumble. Ta-da!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the
guys.
Army of Drunks. Guess what this is?
Drunk time.
Season 3.
Season 3.
Yeah, we've got a whole new format, and by whole new format, I mean pretty much
It
exactly
means we
the same
paid a bunch
format.
of people $5 to come up with stingers.
Yeah, so here's one of our singers. You're going to hear this a lot. Ready?
The Army of Drunks, Season 3. We're just getting loaded.
By the way, we got that off of Fiverr. That was a $5
Which,
drop.
by the way, here's the thing with Fiverr. I really wish we weren't supporting,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's the worst thing we
I
could
know.
possibly do. Mm-hmm. Like it's like we could just chuck our garbage out the windows of our cars, and it would be less caustic to the world.
No, I get it.
Than,
I get it.
Than letting people get away with something like Fiverr.
No, that's all true. But now we have this.
The Army of Drunks, Season 3. We're just getting loaded.
So, I mean, I know I'm supporting a corrupt system. But anyway, with us, Mr. Buck Down, as always.
Hi there, everybody.
Matt Shaw.
Hey, good to be back.
Vanessa is here, as always.
Hi.
And our guest is drunk scientist Ian McEwan.
Hi.
A returning guest.
Returning guest. We don't get many of those.
How many?
They never
is
want to
he-
come back.
Yeah. It's usually the kiss of death on your career.
Yeah. Ian will be answering your Ask a Drunk Scientist questions later. And, Mixmaster Therm is here. I'm sorry, he doesn't have a microphone.
Yeah,
He's back. He was not here for Christmas because he's Jewish and he boycotted our show. Or October. You were here
Yeah,
for
he hates
October?
Halloween too.
He hates Halloween, too, because if you become Jehovah's Witness, you now hate all holidays?
Yeah. No, Jehovah's Witness
I
would
just
do.
hate spending them with you guys.
He hates spending with us. Okay.
And he's a Christ scientist now, so
So
try not to bang him in the head or anything.
we're doing a new format.
We're doing some format
this
notes.
Is
Let's
show
tell the people.
one we're going to do 2 shows with each guest. Show 1, traditional show.
Yep.
Show 2, a more roundtable discussion. Maybe we're calling it "Let's Talk About Feelings."
Talk Bukkake.
And now
And we're gonna-
is the second
What,
show.
what? Talk Bukkake?
Talk Bukkake.
That's
Talk
it.
Bukkake talk.
Talk Bukkake?
Yeah.
Talk Bukkake.
Talking Bukkake.
No.
The Army of
no,
Drunks
no.
Talking Bukkake
Talk
podcast?
Talk Bukkake is way different than Bukkake Talk. I'm
Yeah.
all
Bukkake.
down with Talk
That's a good
Bukkake.
point.
Two totally
Yeah.
different
Bukkake
things.
Talk's
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
show. So
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
one did we want?
Talk Bukkake.
Talk
Yeah.
Bukkake?
Talk Bukkake.
Yeah.
Because
Everyone.
that's what we're doing. We're just throwing our words all in there.
All over each other.
Yeah.
Just
No
spread-
rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah,
just
no,
like
we're
a-
not. No,
just
we're
like
not
a-
taking turns.
Nope.
No.
like a rainbird lawn sprinkler, just blasting, just fucking strafing each other.
And who knows who like the pixelated Japanese woman in the middle of our conversation is.
Ladies and gentlemen, pixelated Japanese woman
lady.
sport.
So, are we also going to commit to more regular release of
This
these?
is well.
Let's
I
have
hate-
a production meeting
I
on
hate,
the air.
Yeah, I hate commitments, but this is season 3. We're gonna do a full goddamn
Since
season.
we're doing program notes, it's good to let the listener
full
know.
goddamn season.
We're hoping that Army of Drunks isn't going to fall off your podcast
Oh, no.
feed because
Yeah,
it's
we
been
don't-
6 months since
we don't want
released
you
the
to
last
fall off.
one.
It is tough to wrangle all the drunk cats together to do a show, so we're going to try to make this work. So anyway, we are. By the way, we now have a Patreon page, which is our commitment. Go to Patreon/Army of Drunks. You can join at many levels, but I don't waste any more time because time is of the essence. We are drinking. Guess what? The Manhattan
The
cocktail.
Manhattan. Have we done a Manhattan before?
We have not.
Oh.
We
How
have
have
not.
we
I
not
can't
done a
remember.
Manhattan before?
We may have done it on the old show.
Surely
It seems like something
I love
we
the-
would have done.
I like we
You
could
think.
say that we had it on the old
Yeah,
show.
the old show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is because Ian, you're a big rye
Oh,
guy,
sure,
aren't
the
you?
old fashioned.
Now I am. Yeah.
Now you're a
Yeah,
big
yes,
rye guy.
yes.
You weren't born a rye guy, or you became one as a toddler.
He grew into it.
No, I was actually really kind of snobbyish about American whiskey for a long time,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, rightfully so.
and then I got introduced.
We're getting
to,
better at it.
I got introduced to good rye.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming full circle. Like we were good, like in the cowboy days. Like we were good at making
The
whiskey.
bar was pretty low then.
yeah, when
Yeah,
the E
it's
still, when
fast
we still had the E at the end of O. Like we
Right.
still
Right.
had,
Yeah.
like
It will.
Um,
Good whiskey then was whiskey that wouldn't blind you.
yeah, yeah,
be fair.
it's true.
So here's the deal. What is in a Manhattan? Well, Manhattan's all about the ingredients, but traditionally it is about 2 parts whiskey, about 1 part vermouth, and
Lippy cab drivers.
Yeah, many cab drivers, and then a maraschino cherry. But really, you want to use Luxardo because maraschinos are devil's.
The
food.
devil.
Once you've had Luxardo, you'll never
go
back.
back.
You'll
That's
pay
what
the
they
freight.
say.
Luxardo sounds like the name of like a superhero, like a supervillain.
Superman versus
Yeah.
Luxardo.
Oh, yeah,
Luxardo.
Luxardo.
In
Like
1972's,
Yeah.
it's kryptonite
Is that a
art.
golden
Luxardo's
era?
Revenge.
Golden age.
So, but here's the deal. So because it's so simple, it can become all about the ingredients. And what we are trying to do is try to figure out what's a really good balance of ingredients. There's some debate whether it's supposed to be bourbon or rye. Bourbon's much sweeter, rye drier, and most bars you go to will give you a bourbon Manhattan unless you ask for a rye one. But most cocktail snobs will say no.
You want the rye?
You want the
We
rye.
want the rye.
Okay.
Also,
Good to know.
it's traditionally a sweet vermouth, but you can do it with the dry vermouth. You can make a dry.
This tastes like a dry vermouth.
Well, this is a combination of both.
Therm,
Isn't
can
it,
we get a
Therm?
ruling on that?
Yeah.
Therm's got to come to the mic, but this is what they call the perfect Manhattan, is what Therm has made for us today because he's a good man.
Right. This is a slightly imperfect Manhattan because it's not quite. The perfect Manhattan would be 3 parts rye, then 1 part split of half part sweet, half part dry vermouth.
Oh,
So
okay.
you just mix half and half dry and sweet vermouth.
So what did we
Right.
do? How did we fuck it up?
What I did was I went more traditional. I did 3 parts rye, 1 part sweet vermouth. Tasted it and went, well, that's not good enough. And then so I added 1/3 of a part dry vermouth to round it
Okay.
all out.
Okay.
All right.
So you fixed it in post. in
We
other
should
words.
start doing ounces instead of parts because the math gets weird. But all right, so this is like about a third,
9 ounces of rye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But
We'll
I
just
love
drink
that
it till we
expression.
need glasses.
yeah, so we
I
have
love that
a
expression, by the way. We'll fix it in post. I
fix it in
love that expression.
yeah, not something you can do in science.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Maybe you can.
In science,
out.
in science, it's called pea hacking.
Pea hacking.
Why is it called pea hacking?
Because you fix it in post after you've got all your data.
The P
you
stands for
figure out-
post,
You figure out
not urine. Oh, dumbass.
how to make the data give you p-values and significance that you want.
In fact, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
it happens
That's
all
like
the time.
math jokes. Yeah, I thought like we'll fix it in orbit. Like that's like NASA's thing. You know? We'll fix it in orbit.
We'll figure it out on the way.
Yeah, if you survive, we'll fix it in orbit.
Yeah, look. I actually talked to the guys at Top Line Wine, which I'm going to cut in right about here. Hey, I'm here with Kevin at Top Line Wine in Glendale, California. Kevin, what's a good rye to go with if you're making a dry Manhattan?
You want a lot of richness to get up against that dry vermouth. I would probably say the High West Double Rye.
How much is that?
$29.99 on our shelf.
That doesn't suck at all.
Also, the Redemption Rye for $25.99. A little less sweet, a little less caramelly.
And if you're going with a dry Manhattan, you want to be as dry as possible to impress those around you with your ability to withstand a dry cocktail. What if I want to buy a really expensive bottle of rye that makes me look like a complete asshole when I take it to the checkout?
Well, in that case, Whistle Pig at $69.99. 10-year-old rye from the great state of Vermont.
It's really the swanky pig of the rye industry, isn't it?
For the $70 price point, you'll be the most expensive rye on the table, probably.
Now, say I don't like my guests. What cheap rye do you recommend I put in my Manhattan?
You could always go with a Canadian rye that's super inexpensive, such as J.P. Weiser's.
I'm sorry, what?
J.P. Weiser's Rye. It's a blended Canadian rye whiskey, and it's actually okay.
I can't hate my people too much if I'm going to serve them the J.P. Weisers.
That's a question that when you asked, I was worried because, we don't sell anything bad.
Of course you don't. So, if we're going for a bourbon Manhattan with a sweeter sort of thing, what do you recommend in that area?
The Jefferson's, very small batch. is only $23.99. It's nice and woody and sweet and caramelly without being too tannic from the wood.
Without wrapping your face around a barrel. What's the super high end?
Well, you could always go with Booker's up at 120 odd proof.
It's more expensive, but higher proof means you get drunk faster.
And it's more concentrated, so you're more environmentally friendly.
Because there's a lot of Manhattan dumps out there that are EPA violations.
And those cherries never decompose.
Now, what's a good low-end bourbon if you don't want to impress anybody?
Corner Creek.
Corner Creek.
Corner Creek is a Bardstown, Kentucky bourbon, and that is a really good option at $25.
What about Old Granddad? Do you have any Old Granddad here?
You know, we do not retail Old Granddad here.
Old Crow? You have any Old Crow?
We sell no Old Crow either.
Quick question, too. I'm going to ask you about vermouth. The real question on everyone's mind is, what the fuck is vermouth?
Oh, well, vermouth is a wine-based spirit. It's a liqueur. It's wine, either white or red wine, fortified with some herbs.
Some herbs with some flavors to put into a liquid that's then poured into a glass. And obviously, for Manhattan, there's the dry vermouth, and then there's the rouge, is the sweet vermouth. So then there's something called the blanc vermouth.
Blanc vermouth is used to drink by itself on the rocks, maybe with a little sparkling water, twist, that kind of thing.
Okay, now in order to do that, do you have to be a grandmother?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I'm glad we've cleared that up. Kevin here at Top Line Wine.
Doilies are very important in this drinking vermouth on the rocks business. You want to have definitely a lot of doilies and a lot of hard candy in little glass jars.
Do you carry doilies or hard candy here?
You have to go somewhere else for that.
Okay, what about like chalky mints, in pastel colors?
Fresh out of those.
You know those beaded things that you hook onto glasses? You can wear them around your neck and not lose them?
Those are back ordered right now, but we're going to have them back in again soon.
Top Line Wine, the best place for your old person glasses holders. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
And we're back.
They're so smart.
We are drinking Redemption Rye, which is a very dry rye.
Okay.
I also got some Jefferson's bourbon. Is it Jefferson's? Therm's gone. Where'd Therm go? Jesus Christ, he's like
Jefferson's
Batman.
like the
He's
TV show,
wandered
The
off.
Jeffersons.
The Jefferson, yeah, it's George Jefferson's bourbon.
God, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
Dude, if you slap George Jefferson's picture on just about anything, I'll buy it.
Really? Is that true?
I would.
What about if I said
George Jefferson condoms?
Yeah, would you
Yeah.
buy that?
Yeah.
Three
I don't even
bedroom,
need 'em.
3-bedroom ranch style house.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
painted
And
on the
Sherman
garage door?
Hemsley lives there?
No, but there's a giant statue of him in front that's 3 times larger than life.
Yeah.
Just his head.
Like a giant gold statue of Sherman Hemsley?
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
so here's the history
You
of
know
this.
he was a real weirdo, right? He was really into
yeah.
acid.
Oh, yeah.
Acid and prog rock, apparently.
And also, gay.
Yeah, he was super
like
into Hawkwind and shit. And he used to bring people. I think he had like either made acid or he had a shit ton of it. And he used to have like these fucking epic parties and get everybody blasted on acid, make them listen to prog rock.
Make 'em listen to
Swear God,
Hawkwind.
this is true.
Suddenly, I also heard he's
Look that up.
closeted gay, is what I heard, too.
Closeted gay?
Yeah.
Fucking Sherman Hemsley. Who
I know,
cares?
I don't care.
He can do
I mean, I'm
whatever he
just
wants.
saying. I mean,
I'd spread for Sherman just for the story.
we're going to have a T-shirt printed up with
man.
Buck's face that just said, I'd spread for Hemsley.
We'll spread. I'm gonna make a sign and hang out by the off ramp of the fucking 210.
Yeah.
We'll spread for Hemsley.
Yep.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Don't act like you don't know what I'm fucking talking about.
People
lady.
throwing money at you. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, just getting pelted with fucking Canadian dimes that have welled up in the.
People give you
ashtray.
sandwiches because, like, oh, he's hungry. No, I just want to spread for Hemsley. So, here's the deal about the Manhattan. Here's the history of the club. Here's the history of the drink.
Okay.
There's 2 separate stories.
No kidding.
Yes. Want to hear the first one?
No
I
fucking kidding.
would have started with the second, but go ahead.
All right. So the first story goes that actually Lady Randolph Churchill, a.k.a. Winston Churchill's mother, was hosting a party in honor of Samuel J. Tilden, who was a presidential candidate at the time. And supposedly a guest at the party, Dr. A.N. Marshall, started whipping up drinks for other guests at the party, and everyone loved it. And it turns out it was this drink. And
How
it was
blasted
so
was
popular.
everybody when this happened?
No, but
Oh,
here's the
very.
thing. It's bullshit. It didn't happen.
Oh.
Because during that time...
Pretty much any George
Yeah.
Winston Churchill story,
Yeah.
anything just even tangentially involved is
No. Churchill's all real. It's his mom you got to trust.
Yeah,
You
it's
gotta-
the
you gotta watch.
apocryphal work you gotta look out
But
for.
yeah, this is supposedly in the 1870s. But apparently during that time, Lady Churchill was in France, pregnant. So no,
probably
that
not.
didn't happen. Second explanation, it was invented by Jim Manhattan in the Sandy Crack Beach Bar in Miami Beach, Florida in 1978.
Say that again.
That's not true.
Jim Manhattan.
Sandy Crack Beach Bar.
How many of our drinks, though, involve some asshole who's a bartender in Florida,
In Florida.
taking credit for $2?
So it has nothing to do with the city of it.
No, it does. Here's the deal.
Okay.
Here's the true version of events. Comes from a guy
I
named
bet this one's bullshit too.
William F. Mulhall. Well, I think it might be true because it's just vague.
Yeah.
William F.
And then
That's
time
what
passed.
isn't that like the tell when somebody's totally bullshitting you, like how detail rich the story
Yeah.
is? Like the more fucking details they're shining it up with, like you can tell.
Yeah, that was the night Mrs. Churchill accidentally went down
Yeah.
on Napoleon III. No. Okay, William F. Mulhall was a bartender who worked for the famed Hoffman House for over 30 years, and he wrote up a story in the 1880s, because there was the Manhattan Club in Manhattan. He says, the Manhattan cocktail was invented by a man named Black, who kept the place 10 doors below Houston Street on Broadway in the 1860s. So he also says, so some guy who worked near him in the 1860s, a guy named Black. So once again, the black man gets shafted.
Yeah.
But he also claims it was probably the most famous drink in the world at its time. So apparently huge in the 1860s.
Yeah, that's how you can tell a story in America is true, is somehow a black guy got shafted in the deal.
He got his idea stolen. Yeah.
Now, the first appearance of it in print, it's different than we all know it. It's in that book called The
This
Flowing Bowl.
tastes like old
Yeah.
New Amsterdam.
It's the vermouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this
And-
tastes like something you would drink in New York City
Yeah.
at the turn of the century. Like, I know that sounds weird.
Like during some like riots between like the Italians and the Irish.
Yeah.
So the Flowing Bowl, which was that book that James May turned
Slade.
turned us on. I would say James May. He's the guy from
That's
Top
the guy from
Gear.
Top Gear. That's a different one. We don't know
turned
him.
us on to published in 1891. So in that, the drink
Tank
contains
rolled by or something.
2 dashes of gum syrup, 2 dashes of bitters,
What's
1 dash
gum
of
syrup?
absinthe. It's like a gum syrup. It's weird. It's like a sweet syrup that's kind of like thick.
Simple syrup with a bit of a
Chewing gum in the bottom of it.
Yeah. No.
It's got
What?
a K-shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically
Slightly textured.
Wow, I'm not wrong.
it's like 2/3 whiskey, a third vermouth, and then it's got like the gum syrup, some bitters, and some absinthe in it
That was the first.
in print.
Uh-huh.
But nobody thinks that's the definitive version.
I'd like to try that version.
Well,
Well, you're in luck.
you're in luck.
Oh.
Awesome.
Someone's gonna make it for us.
Drink some more
So
of
here's
this
the
stuff.
deal on it, though. You can serve it in a martini glass, such
Which
as we are
we've done.
drinking. You can serve it in the traditional cocktail glass, which is the little round edge thing that many people have, which is
Like the champagne style.
a little bit, yeah, the schmancy, the rounded edges. Or there's some people who say you can serve it in a low ball glass on the rocks. Those people
That seems
are wrong.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that doesn't feel right.
That's just because they didn't have any of those other glasses on.
You
there.
don't have stemware, you lout.
When I was doing
I blame
research,
me.
there was a guy named Dustin Dooling who wrote for the San Antonio Current, who went on about said that first of all he said it had to be bourbon, which is bullshit, and then he said no, you really should drink it on the rocks. So this man's an idiot.
They're just
Dustin
making
Dooling,
shit.
San Antonio Current. In fact, so I researched him on
Is
his
it San
website.
Antonio or San Diego?
San Antonio.
Yo, there's your problem right
Yeah,
there.
right.
Yeah.
And he has a drinks section, but they provide the shot of the week, including things like the zombie food shot. Like who drinks
guy
shots
sounds like
and
a
then
That's ridiculous.
dick.
Nobody
writes about it.
Grown-ups don't
Right.
do shots.
Dustin Dooling, you're a tool. And by the way, David Wondrich said that it's a great drink when properly built, and which he says.
I think you can do shots after you've been in a car wreck. Like if you just
You
got
can.
out of a
And
car wreck.
I was
something
realizing
just
that.
hit-
Yeah, I
No, I think
don't
you're
stand
right.
behind that statement
Yeah,
I just made.
you reeled it back in.
I am. I'm totally backpedaling on.
Wait
that.
a minute, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna step away
But
from
here's
that.
the thing: if you're in a
College
car wreck and you walk in,
Yeah,
stagger
you
into
just
a
hit a
bar,
You need a
dog
shot.
with
glass hanging out of your face,
Yeah.
limping in, and you go to the bartender and you order a buttery nipple.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
No.
Yeah,
no,
you're-
you don't do shooters. No, you don't do like a kamikaze. You do like a straight whiskey shot.
Yeah.
Like I think if you hit a dog with your car on the way to a bar, like you fucking accidentally plow somebody's dog,
Uh-huh.
you can totally do shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Or if you roll your car.
Well, we'll try that next time.
Yep.
We'll try that next.
No.
And by the way, Wondrich says go for a higher proof whiskey. He says use rye, go to higher proof whiskey, and
That's a
ideally,
pretty good solution to everything.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
with higher proof whiskey, and ideally chill the glass in the freezer beforehand.
Yes.
But you can use the traditional ice in the glass. and
Manhattan
then dump it
does
out.
seem to need to be like super cold.
Yeah.
And the colder Manhattan, I think, and this of all those like sort of woodsy, smoky, turn of the century vermouthy whiskey drinks, like they all do need to be cold as fuck.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. All right, so we're gonna wrap this
Yeah,
up.
this would be terrible. at
We're
room
gonna wrap
temperature.
this up by there's a bunch of variations of the Manhattan. Some of
The
which
Long
is-
Island.
Some are
This is
bullshit.
Staten Island.
Yeah. Apparently, there's the Rob Roy, which is very similar to Manhattan, but made with Scotch.
Okay.
Dry Manhattan is made with dry vermouth instead of sweet vermouth. Perfect Manhattan, we just talked about, part dry, part sweet. There's something called the Metropolitan, which is made with brandy instead of vermouth.
The Gotham City.
There's also the Joker's Balls. No, there's the Martinez, which uses gin instead of whiskey and orange bitters instead of the regular bitters. That's right, there's bitters in it.
That just sounds weird.
That's like saying I want a taco, but like I don't want a shell.
Yeah.
I just need a bun on it.
Yeah, and could you...
Swiss cheese.
And the meat. Could you just have one patty?
Yeah,
in
can
the
you just
middle?
actually
Don't
make
grind it up.
fried chicken instead?
Turkey, yeah, put fried chicken on there.
Yeah.
The Cuban Manhattan is like a perfect Manhattan, but it uses dark rum. The Tijuana Manhattan is made
Tequila?
with añejo tequila.
Añejo.
Añejo. Say it with me.
I feel like
Añejo.
once you go to tequila, that's a different drink altogether.
I
that's
feel like yeah.
So that is the Manhattan cocktail,
All right.
and that's what we're drinking. And we are going to come back with some Ask Drunk Scientist questions for our drunken scientist, Ian McEwan.
Right after
Just
these,
a few minutes.
these
We'll
words.
see you on
Army
the
of
other
Drunks!
The Army of Drunks Season 3. We're just getting loaded.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Where you been? Well, it wasn't easy getting tickets for this game. Hey, Bob. Eddie, I know exactly what I want. I want the biggest steak you got and a bottle of Lowenbrow. Steak and Lowenbrow. Dolan, you're a genius.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Here's to the chef. Here's to the bartender.
Hey everybody, I'm just going to say this, patreon.com/Army of Drunks. That's patreon.com/Army of Drunks. You ever have someone ask you for money and you say to them, look, I know you're just going to spend it on booze. We need your money for booze. Okay, honestly, doing this podcast is kind of pricey and we'd like to keep it ad-free. Or at least just the fake ad. So if you go to patreon.com/Army of Drunks, that's patreon.com/Army of Drunks, that's what? That's right, and donate just $1 or $2. It would really, really help us. That's patreon.com/Army of Drunks, patreon.com/Army of Drunks. We promise we'll spend it on booze. Thank you.
Hey, everybody.
We're back. Welcome back,
We are
everybody.
back.
Hope you enjoyed that.
Yep.
As much as we did.
And we did. And by the way, I'm going to play another $5
Yeah, we're gonna
DJ
vote on
drop.
the new singer.
Yeah.
The Army of Drunks, Season 3. We are just getting loaded.
I like the morning drive stingerness of it.
Yeah.
But does it feel like there's like that wasn't really a human?
Yes.
Well, it wasn't a human.
It
That
wasn't?
was-
No.
It sounds very convincing for like.
She sounds like she
whatever
worked.
that they use to make like Waze work.
Yeah.
She sounds like she works for the BBC.
Yeah.
She sounds like the radio ads that.
Yeah, or like a map.
Yeah. Ian, welcome back.
Yes.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Well,
Drinking?
worried again.
Yes. It's worse now.
It's,
It's worse now.
Yeah, 'cause
So
like-
I'm going
Why-
to just open up with the first question here, which is in either months or years, how long do you think we are away as a country from undiscovering fire? It feels like we're on that trajectory. Will we do that? Will we
raise the bar a
undiscover?
little to the wheel?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to
alright.
say either we're going to debate the efficacy of the wheel or undiscover fire. Which do you think is going to happen first?
That's a really good question.
I think fire will be come into question under attack first because it is
Fire
mentioned
bad.
in the Bible.
Fire burn.
Fire
Yeah,
bad.
it
It's
is a tool of
dangerous.
Satan.
It may be a little bit too dangerous for
And,
people to
and
have
the and the
access
and
to.
the and the chowderheads love NASCAR.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to save this for show 2.
Yeah.
All the whole like future of science in this country because that we can spend hours talking about that.
That'll be next time.
But the first thing I want to ask you, what you're narrowing your eyes at me.
He's just
Because I'm
drinking.
worried.
Oh, you should be worried.
Yeah.
Don't be worried.
No, he's every right to be worried.
All
I'll
right.
stop narrowing my eyes
Yeah.
as soon as you start making some
So,
fucking
as
sense.
it's
Basically,
not gonna
the polite-
happen.
Either I need a lot more alcohol or you need a little less. One or the other.
What's up with these new planets we've discovered? That's a very broad question.
The 7 new planets?
Yeah, the
Yes.
7 new planets. Are they legitimate? Are that something that we could
Are they
legitimately...
M-class planets?
Are they M-class planets?
Actually, I don't really know the exact definition of what they mean in the show by M-class, but if you mean
on Star Trek,
they're
M-class means
habitable.
it's like Earth-like. It's got an atmosphere. It's breathable. The ground's hard.
Right, so
you
so
could
the
potentially
usual,
go walk around on.
Right, so they're all sort of Earth-sizey, and they're all sort of Earth gravity-ish.
Goldilocks zone.
And then 3 of them are in the Goldilocks. Okay. So if you mean M-class of...
So 3 out of the 7 potentially are M-class.
Potentially,
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up question? What is the Goldilocks zone?
I was just about to ask that.
The zone in which water is liquid
Atmosphere
for
and
some
water.
period of time. No, it doesn't require atmosphere. It's just the temperature. What's the...
Water's not frozen all the time or vapor all the time. There's some
period of time it's water.
So do we, under that metric, does Mars qualify as a Goldilocks zone planet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we hear stuff like this, everyone thinks we're going to colonize these places. Do you think that's legitimately possible? Well, first of all, it's not within our lifetimes, obviously, but do you think that's possible at all?
At all? Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely yes at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
yeah.
guess so. Given enough time.
Given enough time. But it's not... I mean, they're 40 light years away.
It's a long way.
How fast... Do you know how fast we can go right now?
I did like 80 in my Civic.
Yeah, so Therm could be there by...
Therm can go 80.
Yeah, so... No, but what do we... Right now, like, as far as once we get out of Earth's gravity...
Isn't there some
you can get pretty
proposed
fast out.
spacecraft that's like a big solar sail type of thing that would reach some
so
fraction
in
of...
what we're doing now, Voyager, I think it's I can't remember which of the Voyagers, but one of them is the fastest moving object we've ever made.
Yeah.
And it's some... I don't know the exact numbers. I just go look at Wikipedia. What
Yeah,
they're doing.
but look, that's what this whole show's founded on Wikipedia.
It's like,
just trying to like loosely back of the napkin redo
yeah,
the math.
10,000th the speed of light, something like that.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
We're nowhere
okay.
close.
Yeah,
Well, what
once
we
we
need
got
to
it.
do is pack a spaceship full of people we don't like very much.
Right,
And
so
let
you
their
get
corpses-
the generational ship idea, right? And then
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
1,000 generations to get there.
1,000
Is that what
generations?
1,000 would be?
Man. Well, how long's a generation?
But
20 years?
that's
Generation's only 20?
Yeah.
I thought it was like closer to 60, but fuck.
Well, it's like how often you
right.
reproduce a new wave of children, basically.
Right. So the West now, that gap is getting bigger.
Yeah, I would
right?
think
It's
people
taking
have
longer
25
before we
now.
have
I would say
those
it's probably
kids.
like 30, 32.
All right, so Voyager 2, according to Therm's phone, is going 35,970 miles per hour.
That's a brisk clip.
That's faster than we're going.
Yeah. No, I knew it was something like that. I know it's...
I mean, because 1,000 generations is about 20,000 years.
Is it?
But right now, talking anything other than order of magnitude, 10,000 years.
At that point, it does.
100,000 years. That's the kind of... You can't do anything more accurate than that right now.
So basically, until we can conquer the speed of light, if that is even possible, which it may not even be at all, we're not getting there.
Yeah, well, because think of what you would have to do. Like, let's just say, however fast you could go, you would have to make a spaceship capable of enduring that trip, generating its own fuel
And
for
then
that
just
entire
going
trip.
really, really, really fast.
And then generations have to live and die on this thing. So you have to have enough food. It's got to grow food on it. And then once you get there...
There are various ways around this problem. The main thing is energy. How much energy can you produce? If you can accelerate at 1g, ordinary gravity, what we feel is ordinary gravity, if you can accelerate at 1g, then you can cover some pretty significant distance in your own time.
Right.
It might take 10,000 years to get there, but once you get up to a significant chunk of the speed of light, once you're like 0.9, 0.95 or 0.995, your time slows down. So,
I was going to say, doesn't time becomes it bends at that point.
Yeah,
when you're moving that fast.
There's actually a very good segment in Sagan's original Cosmos series that talk about a real design for a real spacecraft using something called the Orion or the Daedalus drive, which is these nukes you spit out the back and blow up. And you can get you keep doing that, and you can get 1G, and then
the external combustion engine.
Yeah, and so you can do things like if you can do that. I forget the numbers, but you can like travel the galaxy in like I forget what it is. Something you can like circumnavigate the universe in 54 years your time.
Whoa.
Right. So if you can accelerate continuously at 1G, I think that's what it is. You can circumnavigate the universe in 54 years.
How do you like
your
how do you
time
not
for
just
your
get
time
split?
Because
Don't
of
you
time
need some
dilation.
kind of like
You just keep accelerating.
Right?
It just
you just
doesn't
keep accelerating
stop accelerating
at 1G
for years and years.
constantly. Then you can those numbers get real big, real fast, and then time dilation takes over, and you slow down to a crawl, and your spacecraft keeps going ever
So that
closer to the speed of
would-
light.
So we could get to these new planets.
And how many?
No, well, this isn't slowing down, right? Because the way you slow down is to turn around and decelerate.
decelerate
Use
for
that
the
same
exact
amount
same
of
amount of
energy.
time.
So-
Right, so
if you're
54
lucky,
years
you don't
your
blast-
time, which is
10,000
10
years.
million years,
Yeah.
10 billion years, or whatever.
That's a
it is.
great way to get out of like debts, for example,
or jury duty.
jury duty.
But if you actually do the numbers, moving around the solar system at 1G, if you can do that,
That seems attainable.
is
that it like
you move around
it
pretty
makes
quick.
it sound really easy. Though.
So imagine though the cool thing. So if say you get into one of these ships and you go to this planet, which takes
yeah, you're also assuming a lot.
20 years your time.
Right.
You get there, you take a few pictures, you turn around and accelerate the other way. I mean, you've turned around midpoint to decelerate, but you go back to Earth, and you get back to Earth, and about 20,000 years will have passed.
Right.
That would be pretty
Which
cool
Planet of the Apes
for
shit?
you.
Yeah, no, it's run over with apes.
Because one of two things will have happened. Either it's a complete wasteland overrun by apes, or
Which actually could be like the midterm elections.
neat.
Right.
Like
Sure,
we could
yeah.
be there by 2018.
Yeah, fair
It's
enough.
coming right up.
Yeah.
Or like humanity could be so advanced, they look at you as this
They beat
amazing
you
little.
there.
They adopt you as their pet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you
know,
get put straight in a zoo.
Yeah. You would,
So
you would just-
there are Twilight Zone episodes on.
The other thing
Yeah.
someone
I mean, all of this stuff is great fodder for science fiction. There are a lot of what's his name, Charles Sheffield, hard sci-fi, really hard sci-fi, short stories. With good calculations of exactly how much time and how old people get and everything, with real hard sci-fi, all the way to Twilight Zone episodes where it's just the MacGuffin of the show, and you come back to Earth 10,000 years, 20,000 years, and it's Planet of the Apes or whatever, right?
Joe, someone suggested that actually there's every chance that if you go off there in that 10,000-year-old journey, if humanity advances, they may just invent faster ships that
Beat you
overtake
there.
you.
Right,
They'll already be there.
Right.
Like we tried to look for you, but honestly,
we've
you're
been where
really
you
small.
been?
We would have had
Dumbass.
to slow way down to stop and pick you up, so we figured we'd just meet you there.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. There's a Denny's there waiting for you.
Yeah, they've already built the Denny's. Essentially, that would be it. You would get to like one of these planets, and it already looks like every off ramp in the flyover state. Like there's an Exxon gas, like a Kentucky Fried Chicken, like
If you drive
a combination Taco Bell Pizza Hut.
So this actually brings up another question, because I know about a year ago there was a lot of hype about NASA talking about a theory for a potential faster than light drive. And
So
there
this,
were some
this was
pictures.
you asked me this earlier. I mean, this is an interesting question because I don't know whether whoever asked this is referring to the EM drive, which is what I think they're referring to, or the Albuquerque drive. I can never pronounce the name properly.
I
'cause I'm
am
useless with
not
names.
sure.
So the Albuquerque drive has been around for a while. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. It's a real thing. It's a real theory, and it's a real faster than light device. It's not implementable, but it doesn't break any of the mathematics. The mathematics are all solid, and it's a warp drive, and it's really cool. Nobody thinks it's implementable. Well, I guess a few people think it's implementable, but
Enough of them thought it was.
But there's a fundamental problem you have to overcome. Like we're talking about here, energy is the problem. How do you produce enough energy to accelerate at 1G continuously, right?
Right.
That's the
We'll
real
figure it
problem.
out before the end of the show, dude. It's cool.
So if you can figure out how to do this sort of curving of space in a particular way, then you can build the warp drive. But I think what you were asking about is the EM drive, which isn't a faster than light drive. It's a drive that breaks the laws of momentum.
How does it do that?
Exactly. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So it's this strange cavity
Strange Cavity was actually the band Spork was in college.
It's also another name for my vagina.
Yeah, the Strange Cavity. It's also up for some Emmys too. Like it's a show on Netflix that somebody else
Vagina
picked
is
it
a
up.
show on Netflix?
No, Strange Cavity.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So cavity in this case refers to
Not sports, John.
So if you're messing around with radio waves, EM waves, even light, if you build a cavity where the exterior is all conducting, the interior is not conducting, and then the radio waves bounce around inside it, and you do this with light, you can do this with lasers. That's how lasers have a lasing cavity. And so this,
the lasing cavity, by the way. Another name for
is
sports
just
vagina.
wonderful.
Yeah, if we don't make these like genital jokes, all this is going to go right over our audience's head. So, like, I'm just trying to like Ohm's law this thing down, so that every now and then it arcs on a point.
We
that,
can't
like,
have them. We can't have them tune out for too long. We need them to prick up a little bit every so often.
So,
When we say
Because
prick,
they'll drift off the highway as they're driving. They'll just start bumping the embankment.
oh, testicle. Okay, we're back.
they're like turtles. Like they can go underwater for a while, but every now and then they got to come up for a dick joke, and then they can go back down.
So anyway, we've had our dick joke. Lasing cavity.
So yeah, it's this strange arrangement where you bounce microwaves around inside it, and supposedly it generates a force without emitting anything, without any. There's no photons coming out of it. There's no energy coming out of it. It's all contained inside, but somehow it produces a force, and this force is tiny. I mean, it's really, really, really small.
Like how tiny?
It's small enough that the guys that actually tried to measure it legitimately have to do things like put it in a vacuum chamber because temperature fluctuations in the air create much larger forces on this thing.
You're measuring it based on what it did, how things react to it around it, rather than the thing itself.
Right. So whenever you do an experiment, you have to do controls, and you have to produce a sterile environment. You have to figure out how to get rid of all the contamination. Right. So you're pumping energy into this thing. That means there's electrical cables with current flowing through them. They make a magnetic field. Any wires that are carrying current have a force between them. So
it's like that guy the guy that
in this
figured out
cable
lead.
coming from my microphone here, there's current flowing in that wire because of the variation in the current from my voice. That force varies between the wires, but it's so tiny that you can't measure it.
By the way, I think I may have figured out. I think I may have figured out what our original listener was talking about, which is this article here. A few months ago, physicist Harold White we may cut this out. A few months ago, physicist Harold White stunned the aeronautics world. He probably didn't. When he announced that he and his team at NASA had begun work on the development of a faster-than-light warp drive, his proposed design, an ingenious reimagining of the Albuquerque drive, such as you said, may eventually result in an engine that can transport spacecraft to the nearest star in a matter of weeks, and all without violating Einstein's law of relativity. Does that sound like bullshit to you? No, but by the way, not a knock on Harold White, who's a good man.
Yeah, so
who knows?
That's a serious guy that published serious papers making a serious claim. You got to go read the papers and figure it out.
I can't understand what he's saying. He's Harold White, for goddamn it. He's a genius. Yeah. Have you talked to Harold White?
Yeah.
It's like you feel like a kindergartner.
We got. Was that our time? Are we out on this?
We're almost out of time for this.
So let me finish that. Yeah. So the amount of force they're talking about is this is tiny. It's really hard to measure. Everybody that's kind of put this thing together and measured a force measures something. But nobody can figure out whether it's just like magnetic forces from the battery, from the power cables, or the battery, or your cell phone. You know, and there's no theory to back it up. And in fact, it's completely contrary to what we think. And you really have to jump through hoops in theories that are not well liked. Like you have to go to something like de Broglie's pilot wave theory, which is a really great theory, but it was never fully. He didn't
that again. What theory?
Pilot wave theory.
Okay.
If you Google or YouTube search pilot wave theory, there's some wonderful. Yeah, there are some wonderful videos about it. Veritasium just did a brilliant video about it. But you have to take that ignore all its problems, then extend it, and then you get something that might explain this drive.
That's basically that's what's been asked of every person that's dated any one of the four of us through our lifetimes.
Ignore all of these problems.
Yeah, you gotta
jump through a lot of hoops.
You gotta jump through a lot of hoops. You're gonna overlook a lot of like otherwise implausible, things.
So long story short, we're not meeting the Vulcans anytime soon.
Not with that thing. No.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this.
Attitude.
So can't or won't.
Yeah.
Actually, okay. Here, quick, one more question, one answer question. Which you think is going to happen first? Will we make first contact, or will somebody make first contact with us?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Thank you. I just came up with that. What do you think is more likely? Like somebody will show up. Like basically, there will be alien craft that will.
So I'm not sure there will be a contact like that.
You don't think so?
No, I mean I think we'll discover and see. We will be able to advance technology to the point where we can get good measurements and even maybe be able to resolve like these planets that are 40 light years away and see what's happening to some degree, much as we can now resolve Mars or we can now resolve Jupiter. But contact requires two-way.
A lot of things.
Yeah,
right?
That wouldn't really count as qualify as contact. If you can see,
we're the advanced race,
so,
you know.
Have you looked at the Drake? Do you know what the Drake equation is?
Yeah, the Drake equation.
Mm-hmm. So there's one term in the Drake equation.
That doesn't know.
So the Drake equation is just this. It was done by Drake. And he just
the artist Drake, you know, R&B guy.
Oh, he's
and it's a series of probability terms of how likely it is that we're the only, or how common is intelligence.
Taking into account the number of.
So it's like the number of stars multiplied by the number of habitable planets per star multiplied by the number of those that generate life multiplied by the number of those that generate intelligent life multiplied by. And one of the terms in there is survivability.
Right.
So how likely is it that an advanced civilization destroys itself?
I think that's 1 out of 1.
Right. And that term kind of becomes important, and it's really interesting what happens if you remove it. So if you ask the question, what's the probability of us being the first advanced civilization?
Right.
You get a really low probability.
Huh.
So it is quite likely that an advanced civilization has come and gone in the universe before us.
Yeah.
If you ask the question, what's the probability that we are currently the only advanced civilization?
The number goes up.
You get a medium kind of probability. Yeah. But it really comes down to survivability.
Because that's what it feels like. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like based on what, like, just the snooping around that we've done, that life, pretty much the things that we define as life are probably pretty ubiquitous.
Well,
but it's more likely that they're just like fish and germs.
Well, I was going to ask this: is it possible for an quote unquote intelligent life to evolve on such a different path than ourselves that it becomes almost impossible to communicate with them or impossible to relate to them? That we have such a different framework of reference.
So intelligent life, no. Ordinary life, yes. So it's quite possible that you could come up with some other way. So life uses energy to make structures, right? However you want to define it. But once you get up, you got to be careful what you define intelligence as. But once you get up to sort of the idea of intelligence, what does intelligence mean? And then you get into
we had this debate once.
Whether or not you can analyze the universe. At which point you get into the language of mathematics, the language of physics, and that's going to be the same for everybody. No matter how your life comes about, no matter what route you take, at some point somebody figures out what Pythagoras' theorem is.
Yeah.
At some point someone figures out general relativity.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, right? That's always been the argument against religion.
Prime numbers and stuff.
If you wipe the Earth clean right now, like let's just say we got it down, chances are in however many million years we will walk the same evolutionary path again for largely the same reasons, and the periodic table will still exist. The story about like the snake in the Garden of Eden, not so much.
Yeah.
You know, like they're not.
The names will be different in the periodic table, right? But the periods in the period will be the same. Yeah.
So math will still be math.
Math will still be math.
Math will still be math.
Adam and Steve now, yes.
Right. So when you get up to that level, and you start talking about how would you communicate with an alien intelligence, that's where most people started.
And that's why Arrival was a badass movie.
Yeah, Arrival was a badass.
Fuck
movie.
yes, it was. I just saw it the first time. I was like, that is fantastic.
Have you read the story? Have you read?
No.
So you got to read the stories.
Yeah.
Had I known, I would have bought the book with me because it's really poignant.
By the way, but we got to wrap this up. I'm afraid I have a really embarrassing confession. Is that once I got so drunk that I began asking the question, does math exist without a human host to perceive it?
That's a really good question. That right there is a really, really
take
good
that,
question.
Eric. You're not as dumb as you think.
God damn it! I thought I was dumb.
No,
all right. In 60 seconds,
trying.
Can math exist without a human host to
No,
perceive
I
it?
mean, that's tree falling in the woods.
Yeah, that's
basically, isn't it?
It's the modern equivalent. Does math exist in its own right, or is it simply a construction we use?
It's
It's
proof.
really interesting.
Well, I guess.
Well, I was wondering if does math need? It's almost like this symbiotic relationship.
Well,
Does human beings?
All right,
yeah.
let's work the problem. Let's say
Okay.
if A equals A, let's just say a thing is a thing, right?
Right.
I disagree. A thing is not a thing.
And yes,
sorry,
and
go ahead.
that's subjectivity. Is arguing about is the thing the thing?
No, it's only because
But
I believe in
all
Jesus.
math
But yeah, go on.
is us reverse engineering the existence or of the thing. You know, whether or not we again, the tree does fall in the fucking woods. Right. Is anybody going to write anything about? No one's going to write poetry about it until somebody shows up and sees it. So maybe the math is that. Maybe the math is more of an us thing. Insofar as it's the proof, like in math you can give the last line, you can do the punchline of the joke in math, and you will get no credit for it. Like it's not till you show the fucking proof that anyone takes you fucking seriously. So maybe math is our crutch, you know. The thing didn't need proof. You needed the proof. So I'm gonna go with it's our fucking problem.
All right.
It feels good.
Math
It
is
feels
our
good
problem.
saying that.
All right. I like the cut of your jab.
Manhattans in, that
all right,
makes
as we wrap
sense.
up this segment. Yes.
So I personally feel numbers are real, but
The first 9 are anyway.
Right. Right. Yes.
All right.
exactly.
Well, on that note, we're gonna wrap this segment up. We're gonna come right back, and then we're gonna have a little game about whiskey. And then we will talk to you all soon. All right, this is the Army of Drunks Season 3.
Army of Drunks Season 3. We're just getting loaded.
I like the unusual flavor of Thunderbird wine. It's an exceptionally good drink for every occasion. Thunderbird has an unusual flavor all its own. Not quite like anything I've ever tasted. I suggest that you try Thunderbird. It's really delightful.
Patreon.com/Army of Drunks. That's Patreon. Oh, you guys know it. I'm not gonna go through the whole ad again. Army of Drunks! It's more fun for us.
The Army of Drunks.
All right, we're about to wrap up this show with our drunken scientist Ian McEwan, but he will be back for the next show where we're going to have a more free-form discussion.
The overtime. What did we call it?
Let's talk about feelings.
Talk
Bukkake.
Talk Bukkake. It is now
The
Talk
overtime.
Bukkake.
The Army Drunks Talking Bukkake Fun Time Podcast Hour.
So, but we often end with a little game. And this time...
It's Bukkake night in Canada.
There's a theme song for that.
Yeah.
Bukkake night in Canada.
I bet it's sung by Stompin' Tom Connors, which is a joke only Canadians will get.
That's
For our Canadian listeners...
Canada Day up Canada way?
Yep. If you're a Canadian listener,
Maple
drop
Leaf
us a
forever.
line at drunkmail at armyofdrunks.net and say that you got the Stompin' Tom Connors jokes. Also, visit our Patreon page.
Yeah. And try to let us down easy. in informing us that we didn't think of Bukkake Night in Canada. Somebody has to have come up with that.
Yeah.
Is that just when a bunch of guys throw poutine on a girl?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
What night?
Or the squirt
what night
maple
is hockey
syrup?
night? Is Monday or Sunday?
It's a maple syrup bukkake. Like what happens is someone gets in the middle, and everyone gets a bottle of. Up there, it's real maple, by the way. It's not that fucking.
I got
really shit.
I got really sad about this all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Just I don't. There was a point where it turned for me.
Yeah.
What, was it when you went Aunt Jemima, or was it
when you
before?
went into. No, yeah, I don't know.
All right, so okay.
You take a load from Justin Trudeau, and you know it.
You know, I actually, he's a great. Is
anybody having a better week on the internet?
Magnetness. I really resent it. I hate that's an embarrassing thing for me to admit.
I love the fact that now it's just like it's probably getting to the point where like world leaders won't let the first lady get the picture with Justin Trudeau. That first shot.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
because they know she's just gonna melt under his gaze.
Yeah, the best though is the Trump. Like he was the first guy to figure out the counter to the Trump handshake.
Yes,
like that was so like that's when you knew
so good.
There's your leader of the free world. Like he just grabbed it was totally like a judo move too. Like he got him right underneath the elbow and then just cocked it there. And you could see Donnie's trying to be a dick and do that little the move like the two logger guys saw in the thing. You know, like whatever the cuckoo clock, that weird jerky handshake.
Yeah.
No.
You know what? The only way that would have been better is if Trudeau had like grabbed the elbow, locked in the hand, and then just kneed him in the fucking balls, like just not like hard either, just like a little like so the camera can't see it. So you do it with the outside knee, and you just kind of get up in the nuts just like that,
just a little
just
bit.
to let him know.
Don't need to hit him hard.
Can't change his expression. You can't let anyone know.
Don't need to hit him hard, but you need to let him know that you could.
You
hit him
Cheyenne him.
This could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, well, that's what the Cheyenne Indians used to do.
What's that?
They used to come they'd go to their enemies and they put a feather in your pillow when you would sleep, just to let you know, like I got in your tent and I could have killed you, but it didn't.
This could have been a snake.
Yeah, this could have been a snake.
It's a feather this time.
This time, it's my knee grazing your balls.
We digress.
We digress. So anyway, as we're drinking the Manhattan, as many have said, the Manhattan is really a lot down to ingredients. In that you really want to have some good ingredients, and we got some good shit for this.
Yeah.
Bartender,
Redemption Rye and the Jefferson Bourbon. But as I was looking around, I noticed there's a lot of shitty whiskeys out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of them start with the word
whiskey.
Old.
For example, there's Old Crow.
There's Old Crow.
Old Granddad.
Old Granddad's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So here's what
they don't have New Granddad.
Yeah, New Granddad.
Grandma's got a new granddad.
So here's a little game for us to play. We'll see who wins. Although there's only one bell, so who knows if we're who's not lazy enough
Let's
to
get things out of the way. Otherwise, we're gonna.
Yeah. I'm gonna name you a bunch of old named whiskeys, like old.
Okay,
Crow
and you gotta determine if this is a real whiskey or fake whiskey.
Real whiskey or fake? Real old whiskey or fake old whiskey? Ian, do you feel like playing this? Hell no.
He doesn't have a fucking choice.
If you can't reach the bell, you can also just say ding.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll fix it in post.
Yeah. We'll just pop that noise in.
We'll fix it in orbit.
So, are y'all ready? Here we go. Old Crow.
Ding.
Vanessa.
That's a real one.
That is real.
You know, we just said that.
I know.
That's
the
only
first
reason.
one's a gimme.
There's always a
I like how
question.
Vanessa was the only one that dinged in, like even though that was 45 seconds ago.
All right, Old Forester.
Ding.
Vanessa.
That's not a real one.
No, it's real.
Real Old Forester.
Yep. Old Monkey Shine.
Ding.
Buck.
Fake.
What? Yes. All right, Old Pucker.
Oh,
Ding. Real.
Ding fake. Sorry.
Shit.
All right. Okay. Old Fitzgerald. Everyone's scared now.
Ding.
We've
Vanessa.
lost.
It's a 50-50 shot. Come on.
It's real.
Yes, it is.
We have lost interest.
Yeah. All right. No one gives a shit.
Old DeForest Kelly.
I was about to say Old McDonald, but third.
Old Gray Mare.
Ding.
Fuck.
Fake.
Fake?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
No,
All right.
Change the recipe. It ain't what it used to be.
Yeah. Older Granddad.
Damn it, Thurm. Which one?
Older Granddad.
Ding.
Vanessa.
Real.
Nope. Fuck you.
Man.
No one's even bothering to ring the bell. Why are we even here? All right. Old Pogue.
Old Pogue. Ding. Real.
Yes, it is real. Thank you, Matt. Okay. Old Cronkite.
Fucking real.
I hope that's real.
Fucking fake. All right. Old Travolta.
Ultravolta.
Fake, but should be real.
Oh, God.
Exactly. You get a point for that.
Yeah, I get a point. Yeah, Ultravolta will eventually be. There's no way in hell Ultravolta won't be. The Church of Scientology
It's not
will
real
finally
yet.
get in the liquor business
Yeah.
because
Oh,
they
man.
can't make money anymore if they're stupid cult. And
All
they're
right.
gonna-
Old Rip Van Winkle.
Old Rip Van Winkle. I want to say that's real.
That is real. There we go. Matt's taking the lead. All right. Okay. Old regrets.
You know, we know it's fake,
that's
but we
gonna be
also
real.
know it's
We
real.
all just everyone.
I'm giving a point to Ian.
Everyone,
just
but Buck just zoned out when you said that for a second.
because. We all thought about something old regrets.
everybody, let's think about regrets. And all of a sudden the show gets quiet and everybody kind of gazes off into the middle distance.
All right. Old dirty bastard.
Real. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with, dude.
All right. Fair enough. That's real. All right. Old dirty butthole.
Oh, why is that not real?
No one's buzzing in on that.
Ding.
Well,
I mean,
because
You're
they.
saying it's not?
it's
yeah.
real, but it's not a whiskey.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get half a point for that. Fair enough.
There we go.
All right.
There, Nessie's in the game.
You're in the game. Old Heave Hill.
Real. Ding real.
That is real. Actually, it might be Old Heaven Hill, and I typoed it.
Old Hank Hill is what
Yeah.
you had.
Old Chode.
Old Chode. Again, fake, but should be real.
All right, that's another for Buck. Old Benjamin fucking Franklin.
Benjamin fucking Franklin. Benjamin fucking A. Something French horse.
That's fake.
That's not.
All right, old Green Day CDs.
Those are real. I got a bunch
Fake.
of
Oh,
those.
real? All right,
I have
fine.
some of that in the liquor
Matt
cabinet
gets
back
that.
home.
All right, I'm giving that to Matt just for the hell of it. Old motherfucker.
Oh, the shelf appeal's obvious, so
Yeah,
of course.
so
yeah,
it must be
pretty
real. No,
sure I
that's
saw
fake.
some
I'm
of that
sorry,
at
I can't
Trader
get-
Joe's.
That's fake. Old feelings of resentment.
Also very real.
Yeah, but
Yes.
not a whiskey,
Not
so
a whiskey,
that's
sorry.
nothing. All right, and the final one, Old Buck.
Real. Ding real.
Old Buck is real.
Hey, we got to get you some of that.
And the final score, Buck wins.
Whoa, I've never won one.
You've never won
I've
one
never
of
won
these.
anything.
You want to
like-
know what you win?
Yeah, nothing.
An
I get to-
Oldsmobile?
Yeah, an Oldsmobile.
The whiskey.
Damn it, Therm.
Nobody wants an Oldsmobile.
The old
Oldsmobile.
Smobile whiskey.
There you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
you-
by the way, so we're drinking the.
We just
the
broke
this is
Cole.
the perfect one.
No, this is the original. This is the.
What do we drink now?
Flowing bowl.
Potentially original.
This is not the original, but the flowing
Is
bowl
this the one with
version.
the absinthe in it?
This is the
with-
1910s.
with
Yes,
the
yes.
Oh, yeah,
gum-
this one's
with the
way
gum-
better.
I like
the
this.
gum
I like
thing.
it better.
Yeah, the one of the Amsterdams has a certain. It has a certain
Anytime,
dimension to it.
Yeah, apprehension. Is that what
I
you
said dimension, but apprehension
it's
too.
got a certain apprehension to it.
That'd be the absinthe you're tasting.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
what?
pretty much down for anytime
very
absinthe is an
herbal.
agreement. Yeah,
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
herbal.
Herbal. It's
I
got
cut you off, I'm
wormwood.
sorry.
There's Manhattan Sazerac.
It is kind of Sazerac.
And a Bendigo.
All right,
Hold
ladies
this.
and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Army of Drunks Talking Funny podcast experience. Check out our Patreon page, which is
Get-
patreon.com/Army of Drunks. And Ian, you will be back in our next show, so
About feelings.
we're going to talk about our feelings. What does science say about feelings?
Yeah.
My feelings. in
What
particular.
about the human factor?
So thanks for
for listening.
tuning in. We're gonna go into an overtime thing. To, check out our Patreon page.
And
there's a lot
remember,
of
Do we plug things or not? Do we have Twitters and all of that crap that we want to?
Do we even have a Twitter feed?
We'll put it on the
By the way,
the show
Mixmaster
page.
Therm is going to be touring with U2.
Yeah,
he's
awesome.
he's playing keyboards with U2, so check him out. Matt Shaw will be spending a rotation in Iraq.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
officially he's not supposed to be there, but that's cool.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
doing
go.
a tour.
I'm gonna hang out at the airport for a couple days. That's nobody has asked me to
The
go.
green zone.
Vanessa can be found in downtown Los Angeles every Friday night stabbing homeless people with a shiv. And Buck, what are you
Only
doing
the
these
ones that want
days?
to die, though.
Made of ice.
I'm just hanging out in fucking Pasadena, looking to hike waterfalls and
hiking-
dick jokes with a 5-year-old.
Smoking weed, hiking waterfalls, and jerking off to internet porn.
Yeah.
I'll be at the Giggle Pit in
The Giggle Pit.
in Tempe,
The
Arizona.
Chuckle Bunker.
Yeah, Shaw's still got that. Shaw's still like running the open mic night at the Chuckle Bunker.
Yeah, and Ian, what are you doing? What's your business?
Are you even working now?
Are you in
that's-
public
that's-
assistance?
That's a good question.
You can tell by the way he answered he doesn't have a job right now.
I muck around with drones right now.
Huh?
I muck around with drones right
Muck
now.
around with drones.
That's right. Actually, you got a pretty badass drone business
It's
that we're
kind
not
of
allowed
fun.
to talk
Yeah,
about.
it's kind of fun.
All right, Army of Drunks. There's going to be a whole bunch of words after this, but remember, from hell's heart,
We stab at thee.
Good night. This has been another Army of Drunks Talking Funny podcast experience. Hey, check out our website, armyofdrunks.net for show notes. And remember, patreon.com/armyofdrunks. Thanks to everyone who's already donated. This show is copyright 2017, Army of Drunks.